There we go. There we go. We're live, baby. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? I'm gonna push record real quick. Hold on. Let me go like this. Record. Amazing. Guys, if you can hear me, let me know. We got some people in the house. Yemi, Aaron, and Daniel Kong. I recognize all three of those names. What's going on today, guys? Wow, we're looking pretty rough today. Whoa! Been just hustling this morning. It's a Monday. Internet hopefully is going to hold up for us. How's everybody doing today, guys? Glad to see you. We got a nice little crew on already. If you are on this call, Wesley can hear me as well. Thanks for the heads up, Wesley. If you guys are on this call, guys, let me know. Drop a comment. Tell me either where you're sitting. Say I'm here. Say you can hear me. Give me your favorite emoji. Let me know that I can hear you. Let me see that you're on. That is, unless you are somebody that's just peeping the show and you actually don't like what I'm doing, which makes me even more happy because that means I got you rent-free, dog. And I know there's a couple of you watching. Cyril, Macaulay, what's going on? Wesley Ford just woke up. Oh, he says woke up. It's an awesome day. 100%, man. Great perspective. Guys, we got a banger for you today. I got a lot I want to cover. I'm going to wait just a second and we'll get going. But just so you guys know, there is a chance, a very good chance that we're going to have internet problems. We live in West Africa, right? It's what we're dealing with. It's the price we pay to be here, but it is so worth it, guys. Let me go ahead and sip on some water. Okay, Justin Ballard says laying in bed trying to wake up. Justin Ballard, I'm about to wake your ass up, dog. I will wake you up. Trust me. Good to have you on. Yemi says he'll be in Cape Town Thursday. Amazing. Why don't you skip on over 8, 9, 12 hours over here to West Africa and say what's up? Wesley Ford, getting a business owner to give me some money this week. Guys, love it. Love the energy. I appreciate you guys being on. I will make sure that we deliver on this episode. Cyril says, listening live from Sierra Leone. Bia with the internet. So what he's saying by Bia, he's saying, deal with it. That's what he's saying. Daniel says, I want to live the laptop lifestyle like you. I'm tired of running my roofing company. Too many headaches. So I'm listening to you from Australia. Daniel, we have so many students, tons and tons and tons of students that are in Australia doing this business model successfully. I actually have a good friend of mine, David Appleby. He is in Brisbane. I met him while I was living here in West Africa 10 years ago. He started his business. He got into he wanted to become a chiropractor or a physical therapist. And he just realized that, like, you look at the people in front of you, you look at the guys, you want to know what you guys know that funny saying that everyone always says, they're like, hey, you want to know what your wife's going to look like when she's old? Look at her mom. Or you want to know if your wife's going to be hot? Look at her mom. You know that funny saying that people always like joke about, but is actually kind of true. It's the same thing. You guys want to know what your life's going to look like in 10 years? Look at the person that is in front of you. Look at the person whose role you're aspiring to be. If you're in a roofing company, go look at the guy ahead of you. What does he look like? Is he in good physical health? Is he making millions? There are some roofers, some roofing company guys that make millions and millions of dollars. But those aren't the guys that are out there, slapping up shingles and slapping up tiles. They are the ones running companies. They are the ones that are consolidating companies. The ones that are actually making the money are the ones that are owning them. You can make money a lot of different ways, guys, but you need to be careful that you be very specific about what you want your life to look like, about how you want your life to look, about the lifestyle that you want to have. And I'll tell you, Daniel, this lifestyle that you want is not that far away. You only need a handful of deals. If I asked you how much you're making right now, you don't need that many deals to replace what you're making right now. Telling you right now, you don't. Okay, guys, joining us today on the show, we've got something I'm not a fan of, but we're running a little slim on options. My wife's out right now at the supermarket. But I got a Diet Pepsi, guys. For some reason, Diet Pepsi just does not. Some people say Diet Pepsi, Diet Coke. and it's tomato. Not even close, dude. Not even close. It just has it has caffeine and carbonation. That's why I'm drinking it. Plus, when you don't have a lot of options, you just make do. Okay, now I'm looking at my screen here. I'm looking a little fuzzy, and I apologize. I'm wondering if I can change the. Let me see if I can change the quality here. Hold on. 720. Let me try and go down to. If I go to 480, what are we going to be chilling at? Let me see if I go to 480. See what happens. Does that help, guys? Can you still hear me good? Can everyone still hear me, or is it like you can't even see me now because the quality is so bad? While you guys are answering my question, Wesley says, listening from the Tar Heel State, North Carolina, where you stand in life greatly determined by those you stand with. Totally. That's a great, okay. Audio is great. Daniel says, okay, we might just keep it at 480 because as long as the audio is good, you guys know what I look like. I'm doing content all freaking day long. So you guys know what I look like. I think I'm going to stay on 480 to see how it goes. Okay. With that, my friends, let's jump into the show. All right, guys, today we're going to be talking about how to land your first deal. Let me get everything set up properly so I know if the internet goes out or something happens. Okay, guys, we're going to talk about how to land your first deal when you are brand new to rank and rent. First and foremost, though, guys, I want to just do a couple quick things. Number one, if you didn't catch last week's show, I shared the advice that my $100 million mentor has given me, the things that I've learned from this gentleman, worth over 9 figures, well over 9 figures. I'm not going to go any further on that. If you wanted to see it, go check out last week's show. And it's literally called The Advice My $100 Million Mentor Gave Me. Okay. I will tell you, excuse me, one little thing that we talked about that I would watch. This one thing is worth watching the entire show for, but I gave you guys the blueprint. I gave you guys the exact blueprint for how to go network with millionaires. Wesley just said something to the extent of where you get is greatly affected by who you stand with. I would also maybe push the envelope a little bit on that and say who you are around is who you become, because as cheesy and as overused as that saying is, it's true. So if you want to network with millionaires and you looking at, and I'd ask you guys this, I asked this question last week. Look at the last week, the last 7 days. Who did you text? Who did you call? Who did you spend the most time around and talking to? That's who you're going to become, period. And if you got a problem with that, if it's not the people that you want to become, maybe it's time to start changing. You're like, well, where do I go? How do I get network with these people? I gave you the blueprint last call. Go watch it. Okay. How to network with millionaires. I got to quickly announce the winner of our merch giveaway last week. And I'm going to explain that here in 2 seconds because we are going to be giving away. Oh crap. I was going to actually show you guys. I'm going to get the shirt here in just a second, guys, but we are going to be giving away some merchandise every single Monday on this show. Super easy to qualify for this. I'm going to be doing it every single time. So listen up. But our winner of our competition last week, of our giveaway, not a competition, was Aaron Vogler. Aaron Vogler was the winner. So Aaron, I know you're on here. You're always on here. Message myself and Ashley De La Rosa inside of the Facebook group and say, hey, I won the competition per what Nick said on the show. And we will get you hooked up. We should by next Monday, maybe even as early as tomorrow, have it set up so you can just order on your own completely free. But Aaron, message me, message Ashley. We're going to be giving away the swag that you won. So let me grab this really quick. I want you guys to see it. Guys, keep in mind, this is I'm not giving you this exact one, but this is the merch that we gave away last week. So Aaron gets the white polo or the white tee with the fire red badge. The shirt is dope, guys. Like, even if it has nothing to do with a business, this is a dope design. This is just a clean design. I've got a ton of comments on how dope this is. My wife actually wears these pieces. She has a hoodie. She has shirts. Like, I have people all the time asking me. So Aaron, you are the winner of last week's giveaway. Now, here's how you qualify. We're trying to spread the word. We want to get more people on the show. We want to get I want to be screaming and preaching the gospel of rent and rank across the internet. And I need your help to do it. So here's how I'm going to help you guys, or I'm going to incentivize you guys, is all we got to do in order to be entered into the giveaway every single week. I'm going to announce it at the end of this show, is you literally take a picture of the screen in front of you, or a screenshot or a screen grab. Take a picture of it, post it to Instagram, and tag my account at I am Nick Wood. I shouldn't have to help you with spelling, okay? And at Digital Drug Dealing. Tag those two accounts, and you, at the end of this call, I will be announcing a winner of the merch, okay? So hopefully that makes sense. Take a picture, take a screenshot, take a screen grab, post it to Instagram, tag at I am Nick Wood, tag at Digital Drug Dealing. And at the end of the show, I'm going to be looking at Instagram. I've already downloaded it so I can do it faster. I'm going to choose somebody, and I am going to be giving away maybe one, maybe two, maybe five. I don't know. See how I feel. Guys, we're going to be giving away some of these shirts today, completely free. That's not one of those you have to pay for shipping or anything like that. Okay, guys, let's get into the show. Let me make sure the internet's still cranking. Let me make sure you guys can still hear me. Yes, you can. Audio's great. Hear you great. Audio's great. Blah, 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 blah. Tanner says, Nick, first live I made. Tanner, stay on the call, dude. I'm going to make this worth your time. Aaron, you are the winner. Yes. Go ahead and please message Ashley, so we can get you guys, or so we can get you this t-shirt. Okay. Nick, love that nightstand behind you. Had one just like it when I was in Zimbabwe. Amazing. Amazing, amazing, amazing. I think you're talking about this. And if you're talking about this, it's not a nightstand. That's actually my patio furniture, my veranda furniture. And one of these weeks, I'm going to do a call out on the veranda so you guys can see the view that I have. I know I've been posting it. The only problem is I always have people bugging me. They're always yelling up at me, saying stuff to me. And it could get a little bit, it could be interfering and could be distracting. Okay. Anyway, guys, let's jump into the show. Enough babbling. Let's jump into the show. Here we go. Another sip of the Diet Pepsi. Let's do this thing. Okay. Woo! Diet Pepsi. I think Diet Pepsi might have more carbonation than Diet Coke. Oh, not my favorite. Okay, guys, let's talk about landing your first deal. And I want to give real practical advice on this show. And I keep having freaking burps coming up, man. I know it's kind of gross, but it's just the reality. Maybe I need to drink some water. I got like some freaking carbonation just sizzling my throat. My goodness, yo. All right, guys, let's talk about landing your first deal. You're brand new to Rank and Rent. And maybe you're brand new to digital marketing in general. Like maybe you've never even run an online business. Okay. This is going to be for you. Or you've gotten a deal. You kind of felt like it was kind of by accident. You're like, how do I repeat it? What do we do? And if you're somebody who's gotten a deal already or multiple deals, there's going to be a lot of gems, a lot of nuggets that you're going to be able to extract from this show as well. So stay with us. Like Tanner, brand new on the show. There will be multiple things, if you're listening carefully, that you will glean from this episode. This is from somebody who's made multiple seven figures. That's me in this business model, who's actually done it, who's doing it, who continues to do it. And I'm going to be talking about that today on the show. So guys, let's talk about some practical advice. I want to give you guys some tips. And the way that I prepared for this show is I sat down and I set a timer, because I like to give myself constraints. And I set a timer and said, if I only had X amount of minutes, and my mom came to me and said, hey, Nick, whatever, we need to make some more money, or I want to just do something, and I want to get started doing what you're doing. And she literally asked me for advice. What advice would I give mom? That's how I came up with these things, because if it was mom, I would make sure it was simple. If it was mom, I would make sure that I didn't give her advice that would waste time or money, right? She's my family. And I also understand it's got to be something that's very easy to comprehend, because she didn't grow up the exact same way as we did with all the stimulation, all the iPhone, everything else. So if you are somebody who's not young necessarily, you're not in your 20s or 30s or 40s, and you're 50 plus or 60 plus, listen up, because I'm giving the advice I would give my mom. That's how simple this is. It's also applicable if you're 20 years old, 18 years old, 16 years old. Aaron, shout out to you, dude. You're a young man, and dude, I can't imagine being that focused at the age that you're at. So shout out to you, bro. So let's talk about it. Let's talk about getting that first deal. Before I do that, I want to just remind you guys, I want to just share a quick little story / reminder. In 2016, Nick Wood, got into this space. Okay. You guys have heard my story a million times, maybe not you, Tanner, but essentially the gist of it is I was knocking as a door-to-door salesman, no education, no prior job experience, except for working for my dad on the farm. I knew how to drive a tractor. I knew how to move irrigation pipes. I knew all that kind of stuff, but I didn't know how to sell. I didn't know how to build a website or anything technology-wise. And in 2016, I knew I needed to make a change, like many of you listening to this show right now need to make. There's someone listening to this show right now. In fact, we already know there was our friend from Australia that said he's sick of running his roofing company. He needs to make a change. He can feel it. It's pulling him. It's calling him. He's got the itch. Okay. That's where I was in 2016. It's actually late 2015. And I knew I needed to get out of that space because just like you, bro, even though it's good money, let's look at where it ends up. And you know what I did? Exactly the advice I gave you. I looked at the people above me. I looked at the regional managers and the people above them. And I said, would I trade places with that guy who's 45 years old and still knocking doors, still missing the 4th of July, still spending the summers knocking doors and traveling and not being with his family, or they have to travel with him and be completely uprooted, not by choice, but by force. And I knew 100% the answer was no. And mainly because there was no recurring aspect. Because guys, I'll do hard shit all day. I'll do it all day. I'll go knock doors all day if it's for me. If it's for my company, if I got the whole pie, if it's for me and my brand and it's recurring, but I was so sick and tired of it. So in 2016, when I got into this business model and I discovered this business model, I want you guys to know, I didn't even know what a domain was, bro. I didn't know what a domain was. And you're like, how? I knew what a website was, but I didn't know that you called a domain. I knew there was the www, but I didn't know that was called a domain. I didn't know that. I didn't know what HostGator. I didn't know what Weebly, WordPress. I didn't know what a backlink was. I didn't know what SEO stood for. I didn't know what a page title or meta description. And maybe some of you guys are listening right now. You're like, yeah, me either. Good. I didn't either. Okay. I had never built a website. 2016, 6.5 years ago, I'd never built a website. 6.5 years later, now I've made millions of dollars doing this shit. 6.5 years ago, I had never built, and I didn't know what a domain was, dude. Okay. I also had never sold anything digitally. There's a big difference between selling digital products and services and selling something door to door, selling a car, selling a supplement, selling something in person and selling a physical thing versus selling something digital over Zoom or over a phone call. I'd never done it. Okay. And lastly, for those of you that are watching this going, I've never done a business. I'd never started a business. The only thing I'd done is work for my dad, and I was a salesman. That's it. I was a salesman for another company. I'd never run a business. I didn't know about paying taxes and setting up an entity and paying people and how to manage people and when you need to, how you need to systematize and how you need to, I mean, gosh dang, these things, they don't teach you in school, dude, in high school and college, none of that stuff, right? The reason I'm saying this, guys, is because 99.9% of you guys on this call right now are one of two types of people, okay? You are either not, this is what I want you guys to do. I want to make this a little bit more interactive because it's a little bit more fun. I think we're going to have a little bit of time for some questions here in just a minute. So stick with us. Okay. But you are one of two type of people. You're either or person number one, you are the person that doesn't know anything tech related. You're like, I'm not techie. Okay. Or you're like, I'm not, I'm okay with tech. I can do tech. I'm comfortable with tech, or I like tech, but man, sales is not for me. You're either the sales type or the tech type. Now, there's of course some in-betweeners, some people that like a little bit of both, some hybrids. Most people lean one way or the other. And what I want to do is I want to know, just to gauge who I'm talking to here, which one are you? And I want you, if you're more somebody that's more comfortable doing the tech, setting up the websites, doing the backlinks, doing the content, doing all that stuff, and just chilling at the house working, I want you to put tech. I want you to write tech in the comments. If you're somebody that would like to be or feels more comfortable shaking hands, kissing babies, doing deals, calling business owners, even if it's cold calling, I want you to put sales. In the comments right now, I want you to put sales or I want you to put tech. I want to know who I'm talking to. Let's do that. I'm going to give you guys 20 seconds before I jump on to the next part of this conversation. And I want to know exactly which type you are. Let me make sure that I can still hear you guys. Good. Looks like everything's still good. Which type are you guys? Mike Price says, what's up, y'all? Glad I'm catching live. Mike, glad to have you on. Again, guys, glad to have you guys live. I really appreciate you guys. I know there's a lot of places that you could be. Guys, I'm not going anywhere until I hear some responses or I see some responses. Which type are you? Ron Dupree says definitely tech, hates the sales side. Tanner, tech, but not afraid to meet people. Okay, great. Gary, tech. We Deliver Atlanta, tech. Andy, Bateman, sales. What else? Guys, you got more people than that. Daniel, sales. What else? Keep going. I want to see who I'm talking to. We've got about a 50-50 split, maybe a little bit more tech than sales. Yogev, sales. What else? Who else? Guys, who's sales? Who's tech? I know we got about half the people that maybe there's a few of you guys that are just peeping because you're like, dude, how's this guy's putting out so much damn content? I got to just check out this show. Why is he wearing a wife beater? Why is he sitting in West Africa? That's fine too. But just tell me, guys, beginning to lean more towards sales. Aaron Vogler, beginning to lean more towards sales. That tells me you're probably more apt to do tech. But yes, I think I would agree with you. So it looks like we got a good split. Okay, that's good because the content, what I want to talk about today is going to be talking to everybody, but I'm going to be specifically highlighting certain things for certain people. Okay, guys, I appreciate you guys giving your feedback. That makes the call a little bit more fun. Lets me know who I'm talking to. Guys, first thing I want to point out in terms of getting your first deal and tips and having done this myself, having coached hundreds of people, having jumped into 4 different industries doing sales, I want you guys to listen to what I'm about to say. 99.999999999% of the time, the first deal that you get in whatever business you're going into, whatever sales you're starting, whatever new thing you're in, 99.999% of the time, is literally because you talk to enough of the right people. It's a numbers game. That's it. Like, if anything, that should put you at ease. And I want to repeat that so you guys can understand that the first deal that you will get, 99% of the time, I don't care how good you are, I don't care how much sales experience, how much tech experience, how long you've been in the industry, 99.9% of the time, the first deal that you get is simply because you talk to enough people, enough of the right people, and then you finally found somebody that you could have sold, Joe could have sold, Amy could have sold, my son could have sold with his iPad, push and play on a video. It's a laydown. It's what we call a laydown. Okay, now I'm disrespectful. I got to crack my neck because I got some freaking weird pain going on. Not being disrespectful, but that's the reality. I'm going to share 2 quick examples. And I've shared this a little bit before with some of you guys on some of my other calls, but my very first deal doing door-to-door sales back in 2013, California, Southern California, a city called Yucaipa. How could I forget? It was literally new. The date is January 2nd, 2013. Why do I remember that? I don't know. Well, actually, I do know because it was terrifying. Very first day, I get dropped off in this neighborhood. Okay. And I'm in California. Everyone's telling me California people are dicks, blah, 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 blah. They're going to slam the door. They're going to scream at you. They're going to tell you no soliciting, all this different stuff. And I got dropped off absolutely terrified to the point where I made myself sick. Like, I was actually physically sick. I'd given myself diarrhea. And that's a little bit too graphic, but it was the reality. Like, I was so nervous that, like, guys, and I hope I'm glad I'm telling you guys that, because some of you guys are like, oh, this guy just like, he's always, dude, I don't know. I didn't know sales. I grew up on a farm, dude. I grew up on a farm. I didn't know sales. I didn't know how to talk to people. It was terrifying. How am I going to convince people? I didn't even have the product, guys. I was selling a home security system. I didn't even have a home, much less a security system. How do you sell a product you don't even use, dude? Okay. Imagine very first day, I got my ass kicked for about the first hour. Okay. Boom, 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 boom. First door I knocked on, some guy that had a big old Jeep. I tried to go for the house with the grandma that I thought would be sweet. Big bald guy answers the door, looks like Dana White's brother, basically says, F you, get off my porch, woof, slams the door. Okay, that's how we started the day. That's my very first call ever, very first door knock. Okay, nothing. About an hour in, I start going, all right, Nick, you're not the smartest guy, but you ain't the dumbest either. Why don't we start getting a little bit creative here? Let's go start knocking on some doors of current customers, and let's see if we can get some leads. Let's see if we can get some tips of who to talk to. I go up the street. I knock on this guy's door. I remember walking up the stairs, and I said, hey, my name's Nick. I'm with such and such company. I am here. And he's like, yeah. We know the spiel. We love the system. I'm like, no, I'm not trying to bug you. I said, hey, I know you've probably been asked this before, but who, if you were me, who would you go talk? Which of your neighbors? I promise I'm not going to bug them. I'm not going to use your name or anything like that. Who would you go talk to and why? And this guy said to me, he said, it's funny you ask because you guys came around 6 months ago, 4 months ago when we bought ours. And I was like, oh, great. Here we go. Somebody's already hit all the good doors. That was the first thought. Said, but the guy across the street, George, as soon as we got our system and we saw the little sign, he started asking me questions about it. And he's asked me a couple times about it. So you may want to check with George. I said, okay, thanks, man. Shook his hand and I turn around and I swear my life, I still remember the dude drove of course, his name's George, drove a red truck with a camper shell. This guy is driving down the street. Somebody pulls into his driveway. I'm not like, you can't make this shit up. Pulls into his driveway and the homeowner goes, hey, that's George right there. And I'm like, no freaking way. So I skip over across the street, start giving my pitch. I'm sure I sounded like Mr. Salesman. Hey, I'm here to sell you. But I went into my spiel. He cuts me off before I even finish. And he looks at me and goes, why don't you come inside? Invites me. I don't even have to ask to go inside. I don't have to ask for the kitchen table. He literally invites me inside. I completely calmly walk through the entire process and I land a full package, which is basically the Hail Mary of all deals, the biggest commission, whatever. This is within my first couple hours, okay, of doing this job. It was a freaking lay down. George, I don't care. Wesley, I'm going to use you as an example. You've never sold home security systems. If you would have been knocking doors that day, you would have sold George. Aaron, you would have sold George. Yemi, you would have sold George. It was a freaking lay down. I knocked on the right door at the right time. He was the right person. And I talked to enough people to get to George. Guys, your first deal, most of the time, 99% of the time, is a laydown. Your first deal is you're talking to enough of the right people, period. So if you're sitting here going, well, I don't have a deal yet. You haven't talked to enough of the right people. And that very first deal, you got to go through enough reps and you're going to find what I would consider a laydown. My very first rank, actually, that's a lie. One of my first, not very first. I'm going to share one of my first. It was one of my first two. I knock on a door. Again, this is my first, this is a rank and rent deal, not door to door, but I'm knocking doors, guys. I'm doing this as I'm doing a 9-to-5 job. I knock on this door in Huntsville, Alabama. Okay. I knock on the door and I start pitching this lady and she stops. She goes, let me grab my husband. She grabs her husband. His name's also Nick. He comes out, super Western, super country guy. And he's like, hey, what's going on, man? And I go into my pitch and he cuts me off and he's like, dude, I'm not interested in security. I got a dog. I got a gun. I'm protected by Smith & Wesson. You know, that whole spiel. I'm like, okay. And I was like, it was late at night and I was tired. And I was like, I just kind of stopped the pitch. Usually I would have gone for it 2 or 3 times, but I didn't. And I turned, I said, all right, no problem, man. And I looked at his truck and he had this wrap. He had a wrap. I could tell he was either a company guy or he owned a company. And I said, what do you do, man? If you don't mind me asking, I know it's late, just real quick, what do you do? And my mind started shifting, and I was like, maybe I don't know, maybe there's something here with this digital marketing stuff, with this rank and rent stuff, but I'd never heard of this type of business. And I started asking him, and he perks up and he starts telling me, he's like, yeah, we do this. I'm like, huh, okay, that's interesting. And I started asking some questions. Next thing you know, I'm literally in his house looking at a part of his house. He's showing me what he does on his house. We get done. I talked to this guy for an hour, and I said, dude, I think I can get you some jobs. I said, I know I'm knocking on your door selling you a security system, but I'm actually like transitioning out of this. I'm going to be done doing this soon. I think I can get you some more work. I don't know if you're interested, but I can get you some more work. And he goes, do you need a commitment tonight? And I was like, well, no. He said, let me call my partner. So I stand on the porch. He walks over, calls his partner's name's Ben, calls Ben, and he walks back and he says, meet me tomorrow at Texas Roadhouse at 12 o'clock and let's talk. I said, sounds good. Grab his number and I head to the house. Okay. Next day, that night I stayed up all excited, prepped a little spiel, printed off a bunch of documents, went to Texas Roadhouse. I pulled out my stuff. I showed him this. I tried to act like I'd been doing this 100 times. I'd never done it before. And we get to the end of it. No contract, no nothing. He says, okay, how much you want? And I said, $1,000. And he said, okay, does that include everything? I said, yes. He reaches across the table, shakes my hand. He says, let's go out to the car. I'll get you a check. Cuts me a check on the spot for $1,000. And that gentleman was my client for over 3 years. Okay. Guys, lay down. Your first deal is most likely going to be a lay down. So if you don't have a deal yet, keep going. You're going to have to talk to enough of the right people to get that first deal. And that should put you at ease, because there's nothing wrong with you. If you've tried it, you've called and you've done Zoom calls, or you've called and you've just gotten your ass kicked, keep going, because it's just a matter of time. If you talk to enough of the right people, you will get a deal. Okay, so I need to just make sure that you guys know and understand that first. Moving along, let me give you guys my tips. And this is, again, the tips that I would give you if you were my mother, or if you were my brother, if you were my good friend and you wanted to get into this business and you said, Nick, where do I start? Okay, I'm going to go into each and every one of these tips. If we have some time at the end, I'm going to answer some questions. Okay, but these are the tips. If you're like, hey, how do I land my first deal? And you were my mom and you're brand new to this, or you're Daniel, or you're Yemi, and you're brand new to this business model, here's my tips. This is how you land a deal. Okay. Number one tip that I would give you is focus on getting the deal, and stop, for the love of the Almighty, stop worrying about the tech. All of you that said tech on the comments, stop worrying about the tech. If you can sell a deal, there will always be somebody there to fulfill it for us the right price. And I keep giving this example, but you want me to prove my point? Go into any of these groups, any of these rank and rent groups, any of these SEO groups, and ask, hey, can anyone in here build a website for me? You're going to get 25 comments. Do this in the same group. Say, hey, can anyone sell my website for me? Crickets. Getting the deal is that's the hardest part. Everyone in this business, when they first come into it, especially those of you that think you're good salespeople, especially you, because chances are, even if you are good, you're going to get your ass kicked in this kind of sale, because it's totally different in the beginning. Everyone thinks, oh, once I get the website built, once I get the leads coming in, then I'm good. Well, let me ask you this, my friends. If that's the case, why do we have a Facebook group full of 4.1 thousand people, twice the population of the town I grew up in, with over 50% of the people in that group who have websites already producing leads, who have websites already ranking, who have been doing this for months and years and still are not making money? If getting the website is the end all be all, why is that group so popular? Okay. Why? If you are still having the mindset of building the website and ranking it, guys, you're sitting in a wheelchair when you could hop into a Lamborghini. you're using the wheelchair method as MJ DeMarco talks about in the Millionaire Fast Lane. You're using the slow lane. And I use this example a couple times recently, and I love this example, but imagine, guys, I'm going to use someone's name just for the fun of it. Daniel. Imagine if I came to you and I said, Daniel, I've got this real estate deal, and you might have heard this on one of my other calls recently, because I've been using this example because it really paints the picture. But if I said, Daniel, I've got this real estate investment for you. Okay, here's the deal. It's in this random city, whatever. It costs you X amount, $50,000 to start. Blah, 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 blah. Here's the potential returns. But there's a catch. You can't actually start looking for a renter for like 6 months, maybe 8, maybe 9, but at minimum 6 months. You're not even going to be able to start looking for a renter. And then you go, well, am I going to get a renter right away? Well, not necessarily, but you could start looking in 6 months. You're going to look at me and go, dude, have you bumped your head? Have you been, what? No, I'm not doing that deal. That's stupid. Guys, you building a website without first getting a client is the equivalent of going and investing in a house where you can't even start renting that thing for 6-9 months. Guess who's paying the bank during the 6 to 9 months? You are. Guess who's paying the hosting? You are. Guess who's paying the tracking number? You are. Guess who's paying all the maintenance? Guess who's paying for the content? Guess who's paying to build the website? Guess who's paying to make sure that the GMB is getting optimized? Guess who's spending their time checking this thing religiously? You. And you can't even start renting that bitch for 6 months at the minimum. Okay. It makes no sense. One of my good friends said to me this. We were talking on this is a friend inside of this space. And he's like, dude, building websites and then renting them is the equivalent of building 100 spec homes. And you look back on after 100 homes and you go, oh shit, I forgot to build toilets. No pun intended. Oh shit, I forgot to put toilets in the houses. Guys, if you knew that there was a way to get a renter, to get a business owner to pay you first, why would you not do that? The only reason you wouldn't do that is because you're listening to people on the internet who are doing it that way, and their very livelihood depends on you doing it that way. That are selling the materials, just like back in the gold rush, that are selling the picks and shovels, but actually don't have a mine of themselves, actually aren't making money mining gold themselves. Okay. If I was going to give my mom a tip, I would say to my mom, go get a deal. You don't need to know about SEO. You don't need to worry about a website. You don't need to worry about content until you get a deal, because mom, there's no reason to waste your time unless you got somebody that's willing to pay you, period. Okay. Tip number 1. Tip number 2, go into a tried and true niche. Okay. Go into a tried and true niche. There's this common thing that's said in this industry. It's that the riches are in the niches. The riches are in the niches. The riches are in the niches. And I believed for a long time that in order to make a lot of money in this business, you had to go into some really weird creative niche that no one had ever thought of, no one had ever heard of, no one had ever tested. And that's how you made millions of dollars. But you know what I discovered after trying that a couple times is that you don't even know if that niche is a good fit for the business model. You don't, guys. You know how many niches I've tested? I tested assisted living. I tested golf lessons. I tested cactus removal. I tested stucco repair. I tested roofing. I tested roof repair. I tested HVAC. I tested, I tasted alarm systems. I tested solar. I'm just scratching the surface here, guys. What else did I test? I tested house cleaner. I tested carpet cleaner. I tested accounting. Guys, I don't know if there's a niche I haven't tested. Always looking for that secret niche, that hidden niche. Now, is there money in that? Of course there is. There's always going to be that person that discovers the niche, like, oh, this works for this, and then boom. But guess what, guys? For your first deal, why not just go get a deal? Why not already solve half of the equation? Because half of the equation is the niche, half of the equation is the city. What if we could eliminate half of the equation right off the bat? Go into a niche that is tried and true. What I discovered in 2020, because I got so sick and tired of building a niche, a city, like so tired. I've done excavation, I've done patios, I've done pool installation, I've done all this different stuff. Okay. I got so sick and tired. I said, let me look at my current clients that I have and the ones that have been super low maintenance. Why don't I just do more of those? Why don't I just get really good at finding the cities? And why don't I focus instead on the riches are in the cities instead of the riches are in the niches? And guys, I made all of my money. I have made all of my money on getting really good at finding the right city. That, my friends, is how I make money. So I would tell my mom or my brother or you, my friends, that my number 2 piece of advice is go into a niche that is tried and true, because it eliminates half of the equation, because you already know that niche fits. And now you just have to find the right city. Okay. Number 3, make sure that there are plenty of business owners in that city and niche. Number 3, make sure, let me sit up a little bit here. I'm getting a dead leg because this chair is kind of skimwampus. Number 3, guys, make sure there are plenty of business owners in that city and niche combination. Okay. When you do your first deal, let's say you choose Minneapolis roof repair, Minneapolis concrete, which I'm guessing are not good because Minneapolis is a large city, but let's say you do, just for the example. Okay. You are probably, because this is your first deal, you are going to burn a lot of doors. You are going to burn a lot of business owners, at least for a period of time. What I mean by that is you're going to throw up on a lot of people. You're going to verbally vomit on a lot of people. You're going to say some things that you're going to look back on in a year and go, I cannot believe I actually said that. That's going to happen to you. And if you go into a city that only has 3 potential prospects, it only has 3 business owners paying for advertising, it only has 3 business owners or 5 business owners that even service the area, you are setting yourself up for failure. Okay. Make sure that there are enough business owners in the city and the niche on your first deal. Guys, again, we're talking about landing that first deal, getting that first deal when you're brand new to this. Now, as you get more experience, as you start landing deals, you're going to find your confidence growing, and you're going to realize that you can go into cities that only have 2 or 3 potential prospects because you're confident, based on X, Y, and Z, you're most likely going to land a business owner. You're most likely going to sell one of the 3. This happened in door-to-door sales all the time. We'd put the new guy into this area. There'd be 500 homes. 2 days, and he's through all the homes. He's coming back to us going, hey, I need a new area. And we're looking at this guy going, there is no way on God's green earth you're finished with 500 homes. We look at his paper. Sure enough, he's knocked every single door and gotten a yes or no, because he doesn't know how to pitch. And he's getting a yes or no instead of a maybe. And he's getting instead of getting a yes or a later, he's getting a yes or a no. And he's burning area. He's burning hood. Guys, in the beginning, you're going to burn through areas. You are going to burn through business owners because you're going to call and you're going to say something stupid. You're going to call and say something dumb. You're going to call and say something that confuses someone. It could have been the perfect business owner, and that's okay. But just make sure that that area has enough business owners to allow you to burn a couple of those doors, or to burn a couple of those bridges, or burn a couple of those calls, and not have to restart and go into a new area. Okay. Make sure, as tip number 3, there are plenty of business owners in that city. This is what I would tell my mom if she was going to do it. I would say, yes, you want to go into a city that's not competitive, and a city that's small usually is the case. That's usually what ends up being, as a smaller population is less competitive. But guys, make sure there's enough business owners. Okay. Tip number 4. Now, this is one that you guys, I might confuse you a little bit, or I might surprise you with this, but guys, on your first deal, don't worry so much about it being the juiciest deal in the history of Rank and Rent. Just get the deal. Okay. Dude, I don't know why my neck, how I'm bending. Guys, let me repeat myself. Do not worry on your first deal. If you're still going and searching for your first deal, do not worry so much about it being the most juiciest deal on the planet. Don't worry that much about it being a $2,500 or $5,000 deal that you can flex on in the group as just getting the deal. Okay. Now, there's a couple of reasons why I say this, but number one is because getting a deal is more important than getting the juiciest deal. You have to get one deal before you can get 5 deals. You have to get one deal before you can get 10 deals or get to 20K. Get a deal. Now, don't sell yourself short. Don't by all means, do not do a pay per lead deal. Do not do a commission deal. Do not sell yourself short and do it for $500 or sorry, $200 or something like that. But if you got to do a $750 deal or $800 deal or a $1,000 deal and it's worth $2,000, that's okay. Get the deal. Okay. There's this saying in sales, and we always say this. We say, when is the best time to get a deal? When is the best time to get a deal? And the answer is after you get the first deal, or after you get after you get your first deal, after you get the first deal in the day. Why? Because now the pressure's off. Now you don't have sales breath. Now you don't have to have the deal. You just want the deal. And because you just want the deal, you don't have to force the deal. And because you don't force the deal, you don't ruin the deal. Nothing ruins a deal quicker than desperation. And desperation has a scent, and it freaking stinks. So my fourth tip is don't worry so much about it being the juiciest deal as just getting the deal. Next tip, make sure the city and the niche combination is wide open for ranking. What I mean by that is once you land the deal and once you build the website, the actual website, make sure that you're going to be able to rank it as quickly as possible. Okay. Now, why do I say that? And that's because going back to my previous tip is if your deal's only $750 and you're spending $400 on ads, you don't have the greatest margin in history, although it's still phenomenal, still almost 50%. You want to get that thing ranked as soon as possible so that you can get the organic leads coming in so that you can shut off the ads and you can make a full rip. So if you guys go into a competitive city and now all of a sudden you're 6 months in and you're still only making 50%, 40%, 30% profit margin, and you're working your butt off trying to get this thing ranked, it's going to be a little bit disheartening. So make sure, mom, make sure, brother, make sure, aunt, whoever it is that I'm talking to, go into a city that once you get the deal with the ads, once you get the deal with the steroids, getting it ranked isn't going to take 6 months, isn't going to take 9 months, isn't going to take 12 months. And some of you guys are going, well, how can you tell? Guys, that's the secret sauce. That's the stuff we're talking about inside the program. But you got to make sure that the niche and the city is wide open to ranking. And guys, there are some telltale signs. I will give you guys one tip is if I look at my top 5 keywords, it's going to go a little bit, we're going to go a little meta here. But if I look at my top 5 keywords, I clear my browsing history. I look at my top 5 keywords in a city. Okay. Concrete contractor, concrete company, concrete patio, blah, 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 blah. And I add the city, Las Vegas, Nevada, onto all those. If the top 3 companies in the map section are all the same, I run. If the top 3 companies in the maps for the top keywords are all the same, I run. However, if in that map section, they're all mixed up, there's Joe's Concrete and Jack's Concrete and Bill's Concrete, and they all keep showing up in different spots and they're different companies. And as another thing, a couple, 1 or 2 of the people that keep showing up in the map for the majority of those terms doesn't have a website. You guys know when you look in the maps and it literally just says directions, there's not even a website link because they don't have a website. Those 2 things right there, if I see that right there, that is literally a green flag raising its hand saying, I am money, come and find me. Okay. Those are some telltale signs, not going into too much detail, of it being a wide open city. Okay. And guys, my last tip is this. Remember, if you're getting your first deal or still looking for your first deal or still trying to land your first deal, that money spent on ads isn't lost. Money spent on ads isn't lost unless you give up. Unless you give up. Because guys, if I spend $300 on ads, that money is money that I'm just spending of the business owners, because as soon as I get the deal, I'm breaking even and then I'm going in the green. Okay. I'm only in the red temporarily while I land the deal, period. But as soon as I say, hey, I'm out, I'm not doing ranking anymore, that's the moment that I've actually lost money. It's just like the stock market. You actually don't lose money if a stock goes down. You only lose the money when you sell it at the low price. So guys, just because you're spending money on ads and you're like, man, I've spent $100. Oh my gosh, or I've spent $500, or heaven forbid, I spent $600-700 to get a client. That's nothing, guys. If you're getting, if you're at a 50, 60, 70% profit margin with a 6-month contract, and you land a $1,000, $1,500, $2,000 deal, first month, you made all your money back and then some. Very first month, your money on ads is not lost unless you give up. And guys, let me remind you, building a website, ranking it, spending 6 months doing the backlinks, doing the content, doing the tracking numbers, all these different things, all your time, all your everything, stress, energy, etc., is more expensive than running a couple dollars of ads to speed up the deal. It is more expensive than running and guys, the people that are telling you it's more expensive to run ads up front have bumped their heads. Okay. They are feeding you a bag full of shit. Because in the example that I gave Daniel earlier, if I told you, hey, you can spend $20,000 down payment and buy this house, but yes, it's going to take 6 months before you can even look at renting it, or you can spend $1,000. We can go do a market research and I can go and try and find you a client. And if we can't, we can run some ads. And if I can't get you a tenant, we're going to pull out of the deal and go to the next one. Hey, it's $1,000. You may lose it. All day long, you're going to spend $1,000, because guess what? Even if you have to do that 2, 3, 4 times in 2, 3, 4 different cities, once you land the banger, it's over. You made your money back, and you saved way more money. You spent way less money than you would have spent doing the deal that you would have had to wait 6 months to even start looking for someone to rent the project. Guys, let me repeat these. These are some freaking gangster tips. Number 1, focus on getting the deal and quit worrying about not knowing the tech. If you can sell it, there's always going to be someone to fulfill it. Number 2, go into a tried and true niche. Number 3, make sure there are plenty of business owners in that city and niche in case you burn a couple of calls. Number 4, don't worry about it being the juiciest deal in history. Just ink it. Just get it. Just do it. Get the momentum. Get the deal. Get the win. Number 5, make sure the city and niche is wide open for ranking once you get the deal, so that you can get it ranked quickly, get the organic leads coming in, and shut the ads off. And number 6, remember that money spent on ads is not money lost. You only lose money if you quit and you give up on the business model. Guys, those are literally, if you were my mom, and if my mom's listening, hi, Mom. I don't think she is, but if she is, I apologize for the swear words. I'm sorry. Those are the tips I would give my mom. I would literally tell her those exact things. Those are what I would say. If you were my brother, if you're my friend, or you're someone I cared about and I really wanted you to have success, those are the things I would tell you. If we were sitting around having a drink, sitting by the fire, going on vacation, and you're like, tell me about your business. How can I get started myself? That's what I would tell you. Those are the tips that I would give you, period. That's exactly. And that's, again, guys, please let me remind you guys, this is from someone who has been there and done that. I've made multiple 7 figures in this business. I made multiple 7 figures before I even started talking about the fact that no one even knew what I did. Still, some people don't even know what I do, dude. I didn't start sharing tips. I didn't start making posts in groups and sharing stuff on Facebook and on Instagram until I'd made multiple 7 figures doing this business model. So this advice is from someone that has been there, that has actually done that. Knowing what I know now, 6 years in, this is exactly what I would tell me 6 years ago. Okay, that's it. That's the advice. And if you're still looking for your first deal, remember, you are going to have to run into a laydown. That's just 99% chance it's what you're gonna have to do. Okay. So don't get too beat. Don't beat yourself up too much if you don't have a deal now. Guys, let's give away this shirt. If you're on this call and you weren't on earlier, guys, we're gonna be giving away some merch every single week on this call today. We're gonna give another one of these shirts away. This is our white, our bright white shirt with the fire red badge right here on the tee. All you have to do, I'm going to give you guys 30 seconds for anyone that hasn't. You need to take a picture of the screen of me talking, of me sharing, me holding the mic, me whatever, and post it on Instagram on an Instagram story. You don't need to make a post. Do it on a story. Tag at I am Nick Wood. Tag at Digital Drug Dealing. Why? This is how we push the name. This is how we get people's eyeballs. They click. Oh, what's this? Who's this crazy dude sitting in the wife beater in West Africa? Huh? That's interesting. Guys, I want everybody to know about this business model. I am preaching the gospel of rent and rank, and that is why I want you guys to do that. So let me go ahead and look at the Instagram real quick. And if it's going to load, I will announce a winner, by the way. Again, Aaron Vogler, congratulations for winning last week. Please message Ashley to get your merch. Okay, let's see what we got here. Is this going to load? Well, I have somebody that's spamming me. That's a good sign if that came through. Let me go in here. And if we don't have enough entries, what I'm going to do is I will do what I did last week, and I'll give it another hour, maybe even a day to see who shares it, and I'll announce like I did today. But let me go ahead and look and see if we got anything or if this is actually going to load. Give me one moment here. Just a bunch of spam so far. Okay. Unless I'm not looking at this correctly. Yeah, this isn't working. Oh, wait. Nope, not working. Let me see. Maybe I'm looking at the wrong thing here. Oh, what do we got? Okay. Guys, we have a winner. By the way, just a clarification. You guys do not need to make a post, although this person made a post. You guys just share a story. Super easy. Just share it on your story. Let me just do one more check, and then I'm going to give this away. Okay, guys, we have a winner. Let's see here. We have a winner in the form of, you see the name here, Home Biz Morn Peters. Mr. Mornay or Morn Peters, I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. You are the winner of, it says that you are an affiliate / CPA marketer. Congratulations, my friend. You have won the merch today. So thank you for sharing. I need you to send me a direct message on Digital Drug Dealing unless you are inside of the Facebook group, and I am going to get you your merchandise. You're going to be getting one of these. I need to know your size. I need to know your address. And we will be getting you this tee right here, free of charge, free shipping, free everything. Also, Aaron, a reminder, since you won last week, please message Ashley. Okay. Let me look real quick through the questions and see what questions we have so I don't forget any. Daniel says, I don't miss selling alarm systems door to door. It sucks. Yes, it is. Is it possible to do rank and rent for the local U.S. market while not being in the U.S.? I've answered that on a, that's a good question. I have answered that question. I'm going to screenshot this because they're always interesting questions to look at. Guys, I've answered that question. If you guys look through my YouTube, I have hours and hours and hours. I have hundreds. I have over 700 videos, I think, of all rank and rent material. Let me give you the exact number. I have 740 videos on my YouTube channel. I put out a new video, sometimes 2 a day on this channel. And sometimes it's an hour-long call like this every single day. I've answered that question. So go and look through the YouTube and you can find the answer to that question. Is it possible to do this with a free Weebly or Wix site? Yes, it is. Just done a screenshot of your live. Yeah, Morn Peters, you're the winner. Excellent. Ron says, sounds like you created that laydown. I love it. Not necessarily. I mean, laydowns are laydowns, man. Laydowns are people that were already thinking about it, people that were already talking about it, people that even if they weren't talking about it, they had already made up their mind that this is going to be the year. I'm going to go and spend money on marketing this year. Or they went to a conference, or one of their friends said, you got to do this, you got to do this. They are actual, you don't create them, you find them. Okay. Andy says, got to talk to like 10 to get one. Sometimes you can talk to less, but yeah, sometimes it takes 10, sometimes it takes 20. Ron says, I seem to have a hard time finding cities under 5 CPC for ads. Found a lot of places with low difficulty, some right in my city. You may be in the wrong niche, Ron. You may be in the wrong niche. That's why. Do you not go higher on ads now that you have more money? I do now, but if you're doing your first deal, I would not go more than 5, go higher than 5. Okay. Good question though. How is awnings going for you? I'm going to have to answer that in a YouTube because that's too long of an answer with the time. I'd already spoken with my buddy who's in real estate and wanted to chat with me about rank and rent. Plus he's in IT and is struggling to get clients in both industries. This is my PIF business. Beautiful. Okay. Can you give examples, tried and true niches? Awesome content once again. Okay, guys, I am going to just make sure to screenshot these. And I also have to, let's see. Justin Lucas says desperation is a stinky cologne. Absolutely. Guys, there's some phenomenal questions. I'm going to use a lot of these questions to create YouTube content this week. But in the meantime, guys, take this advice. If you haven't gotten your first deal, go get it. That lay down is out there waiting for you. It's out there sitting there so nicely, ready to open up its pocketbook, invite you to Texas Roadhouse and give you $1,000. Don't get discouraged. This is the greatest business model on the planet. It is the business model that's allowed me to get out of debt, buy real estate, and move to the continent of Africa with my family. Guys, thanks for being on the show. I'll see you next week. Again, Warren Peters and Aaron, message Ashley and myself.